more question.
Yep. I have one real quick to follow up Dennis's question. Dennis, you have a software engineering degree, right? So he's a software engineer for Walmart. And we saw that behind oil, the greatest GDP is agriculture throughout the continent. So we got agriculture, education, and yet with this big problem Donnie's presented, how do we convince the software engineer to move back to the continent? Scott, you just touched on it a little bit, and develop it when agriculture is really not that sexy. I have a poultry science degree. It's never been glamorous. It will never be glamorous. How do we motivate and encourage people to get into commodities and agriculture and developing that country, or that continent? Sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to say a little bit about that. So I have a degree, I grew a career in technology. And we're going to be talking about a little bit of technology too. But what I am seeing in the technology space is that technology is an enabler, okay? There is no Walmart without a POS, point of sale system. We have to start treating technology innovation on the continent as an enabler for agriculture, so agri-tech, right? You really, so just think about what I'm doing now. I'm actually applying, in a way, my programming skills here because I know how people think and how things connect together and how you can bring people together. Like you don't have to, there are skills you're learning, but you can apply it in agriculture. I think that's what I'm trying to say is technology is an enabler and we need to solve for the farmers. You know, we're trying to solve from farm to shelf, supply chain, logistics. We can innovate around that, but we need technologies to focus on that. Sometimes I just feel like we're programming, but we need to start applying that knowledge. You know, just like you say, blockchain. Come on. Akin is in the room. I call him Mr. Blockchain. You guys should talk.
Where is he?
Akin, where are you? Okay. Yeah, he was just on Wall Street talking about blockchain, right? So, yeah. But that's innovation in agriculture. So that's what I would have to say is technology is an enabler.
This may be a cop-out answer. I don't know. I've got a degree in animal science from Tennessee, frankly, because I wasn't smart enough to get in vet school. I tried.
All the little puppies.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't know. I rarely used my degree in agriculture after about the first 6-7 years of my career because I went into supply chain management and it was all about transportation, warehousing, logistics, and you know JDA and all the decision support software and all that. You know, then I ended up being involved in a big SAP project. I was a chief information officer of Tyson for about 18 months. That's scary. He was on the board, learned that, and jumped off. No, but the point is you know, God directed my path and he pointed me to my need, and what I learned was to learn. I learned how to learn. And using some of those, you know, these skills, then you take that and you add to that toolkit, and then you take that and you add to that toolkit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And before long, you've learned, you know, how to lead people effectively. You know, you've learned the importance of the balance sheet and how important cash is and those sorts of things. And you look back and, you know, 36 years later, I wouldn't trade a thing, but I only used a degree that I worked hard for that animal science degree. Had to, because Dad made it perfectly clear I wasn't coming home. And so, but I used that degree technically for probably less than 6 years.
Wow. Any last comments for the crew here?
I'd go back to the question you asked about China and about ethics and things like that. I believe that North America has developed this incredible economy because of a sense of values and ethics that, you know, the Hollywood perception of business people as greedy and unethical and distrustworthy, that's the total fallacy. is that we couldn't do business together if we didn't trust people. It's one of the things Scott and I learned from Jack Stevens here, and he was partners with Sam and Don and all those people, is that if you don't trust these people, nothing else matters. And that's the way, that is America's contribution to the world, is that ethical, honest, fair business is the best way to do business. And if Americans and North Americans will come to Africa and do business, it's one of the few things we have that we can share. Okay? And our goal is for a generation. I really do believe it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. Okay? And one reason for the Scholars Program is that we get them when they're puppies, and we grow them up in an environment where they learn how to do business on a global scale. And one thing I will tell you about the Chinese is they don't care about values or ethics.
No.
And the second, they will never train an African to run their
No,
business.
they will not. Exactly.
And so countries and it will have to decide. There's nothing wrong. Chinese can deliver a lot of products that are well worth it. But you got to decide in the long run, who do you want to align your economy and your society with?
Yeah. I also say that, trust me, that China is not solving agriculture for Africa. Right? So if we want to get it right by 2050, that population growth and growing our own farm, we've got to partner.
Yeah.
Wow, would you please help me thank this group? Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.